Like, subscribe, and share to Voices of Linden TV.
Welcome to the Money Minute with Michelle Moseley. I am so very happy to have you here with us today in our little gathering today, or discussion, like I like to call it. We have a few faces that might or might not be known. Each of them has some kind of connection. We're going to start off with the lady among the men, Chenelle Moseley. And yes, there is a relationship. Like I said, everyone here is connected in some way today. So Chenelle is actually related through marriage. And Chenelle is the owner and operator and founder, if you will, of Natural by Shen. I'm not going to get into too much of the discussion here just yet with Chenelle. I'm going to look back to you. I just wanted to welcome you to the show. Next, I'm just going to cross my screen. There is another Moseley, and that Moseley is Quaison Moseley. And a lot of you, if you know, Quaison is not a stranger to if you're from our community back in the West Indies or even right here in North America, because he's my son. And Quaison is the owner and operator of the Sharp Society Barbershop that operates out in Oakville. Next, we have Roderick ALPHONSO, who you will hear me call throughout the session Roddy, because that's how I know him as from since he was a wee little lad. And Roddy is owner operator of RMAC Visuals, and he is out in New York. And we have with us as well Adam, the apprentice. And Adam has a myriad of roles or hats that he wears. And of course, as you can tell from that, he also is a small business operator. Adam has a connection as well, much like Roddy. Roddy and Quaison attended each other's birthday parties as they were growing up. Adam has a connection as well in that Adam is our family photographer. So when you see Quaison is, displaying all of those hip photography on his website. That's Adam the Apprentice. We were supposed to have Giant Organics from Guyana. It would have been a nice little touch to complement Chenelle. She, unfortunately, we weren't able to connect. And so today I'm just very happy to have what I consider to be a really fantastic group of young people taking their craft and really honing it and using it not just for the economic, of course, viability, which is a must, but of course because it's their passion and what they believe in. I want to look back to Chenelle and ask you for just to give us a little bit of an insight, Chenelle, as to who you are and your business and the passion. We'll start with that.
Hello, everyone. Like Michelle said, my name is Chenelle Moseley. I am a mom to a beautiful little toddler who will be turning 2. I am a wife, and I'm also a social worker, but I also have a passion for hair. I've always loved hair, loved everything hair. And it wasn't until I had my amazing little Gabriel, and I could not find anything to take care of his hair. His hair was, always dry. It was breaking. My hair was also dry and breaking a lot. And I just needed to figure out, what am I going to do to help my little one and myself take care of our hair? And that's when last year I was on maternity leave. I started to just study black hair. The science of black hair, how to take care of black hair, how to grow black hair, because that's something we've struggled with a lot in our community. And I will just study and read, research, study, read, and I just started to mix. I started to mix in my kitchen and study, mix and study. And then I would test it out on myself, my husband, my son, and it just started like that. I started to mix, like I said, study, and try it out. And I did that for about 3 months from September to December. And my hair started to grow. My son's hair started to grow. And everyone was like, what are you doing, Shen? Your hair is so beautiful. What is the secret? And I said, I started to make my own hair products. And that's when they were like, you should put it out there. And I thought about it. I gave it a shot. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should put this out there. And because I really like hair, I'm passionate about hair. So I did that in December. Got a lot of support from family and friends. And then in January was when I put it out to pretty much like the Facebook world. And I just received an amazing amount of love and support, which prompted me to really pay attention to this business. So which is what I did. And then I put it out there, and Natural by Shen has been growing for the last 8 months. We have an amazing clientele, and we're just growing.
That is awesome. Thank you very much for that rundown, Chenelle. I really appreciate it. I think you are quite right. We have struggled over time with having the right kind of approach to our hair maintenance. You know, as a Black woman myself, I can speak to that. Over time, I've struggled with that. I myself, I've started using Natural by Shen simply because I like the idea of some of the you know, the products that are being I should say what you're using, all of the herbs and etc. I do like that, and I like that approach, and I find that my hair texture has begun to change quite significantly, and it's more manageable. And so I do like that. I'm going to go back to you because I want to hear some more of your passion. But before I do that, let me just jump over to Quaison, who is again another person that is looking after hair. Quaison is a little bit wider scope in that he looks after every type of hair. Quaison, would you mind telling us a bit about your passion?
So I think it was around my 25th birthday. I was going through a midlife crisis. I was working a job, and I wasn't feeling it, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I started to think about things that I liked, and the one thing that I liked, and I went to one place I went religiously, was to the barbershop. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe this might be a thing. So I made the decision that I was going to get into it. But when I got into the business, I wanted to get into the hair industry and be the opposite of expectations. So typically, I want to get into the hair industry. What was that?
Go ahead, Quaison. I think someone was not muted. Just go ahead. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah. And so I started the business basically because there's things I loved about the barbershops, and there's also things I didn't like about the barbershop. And I did the opposite of everything that I didn't like. Also, in our industry, most of the people that are Black, that are Caribbean or whatnot, they focus on one type of hair. And so I did some research, and I found out in all of Canada, there's 600,000 Black guys. So that would make my market extremely small. So I focused on cutting every single type of hair, cutting straight hair, which is the majority, which is really unusual for Caribbean barbers. And I built my business successfully around what my clients would want and what they expected, and going above that. So for example, at typical Caribbean barbershops, you'd go in, you'd hear loud swearing music. You'd wait there for a long time. You would sometimes have a very uncomfortable experience. I want to do the exact opposite of that. And that's what I built my business around. One, not being confined to one hair texture, and two, cleaning up all the little parts of the barber industry that I thought were unprofessional and making it a little bit better.
That is awesome. I really thank you so much for that breakdown. I do like the fact that you have decided to incorporate not just one hair texture, but you've looked beyond that. And I think that, like you mentioned, has given you some more scope to deal with. We're going to come back, of course, to everyone, because I'd like to hear a bit more of your storyline. But at this point, I want to jump it over to the guys who are either before or behind the camera, I should say, in some capacity. I'm just going to start with Roddy, and if you can give us a little bit of a background, Roddy, on RMAC Visuals.
Hey guys, Roddy, and also known as RODERICK ALPHONSO. I started in the media industry out of college when I graduated in 2012. I studied entertainment technology, live entertainment and concert production. And that's where I fell in love with photography, videography, live entertainment. And I started doing odd jobs here and there, mostly not as an official business, but as a hobby, and sometimes got paid for it. But I wasn't really pushing the idea of a business or a small business in the media industry is not until last year when the pandemic hit and I was home on administrative leave because of the pandemic. And I realized how bored I was. And I was like, all right, it's time for me to pick my camera up again and actually do this thing for real, like actually start the business. And I picked the camera up, started pushing the business through social media, doing free jobs to get my name out there again. And eventually started getting a lot of jobs and officially registered the business with the state of New York. And then this year I got started working with the Department of Education, got some jobs coming up with the NYPD. Over the last years, it's been really great for the business. The reason why over the years since I graduated college that I haven't really pushed is because I was in kind of a way procrastinating, saying, all right, someday I'll do it, someday I'll do it. And again, last year when the pandemic hit, I realized that things can change drastically. Like we all experienced it. And I'm like, all right, I have to find some sense of financial security outside of my current job because that can go just like that. I mean, luckily I was just on administrative leave and I'm back to work now, but starting the business officially, it was giving me some sense of financial security. And I'm not there where I want to be. Like where I want to be is saying, all right, if I lose my job today, I'm comfortable with my small business. I'm not there yet, but that's where I want to be. So that's the background of RMAC Visuals and how I got into the business.
Awesome. I'm hearing a bit of a trend. There's a passion element. Everybody's taken their passion and decided to do something with it. So that's really awesome. We're going to come back because we'd like to hear some more from you. But we're going to take it over to Adam, the Apprentice. Adam, that's an interesting moniker. And tell us a little bit about how you came to that and what your business is.
Okay, so I came into the hair industry in 2014. And at that time, Instagram was fairly new. And I was trying to come up with the name. And I came up with the name Adam the Apprentice because regardless, like what was around me was a lot of barbers saying that they were master barbers. And I respected them and understood that once you put in your 10,000 hours that you become a master. But I always felt that no matter how long you've been in an industry, there's always something new to learn and to stay to have like that competitive edge. So with that, that's where I got the name Adam the Apprentice, because I'm always learning. I can never learn everything or know everything because there's so many different textures of hair, so many different hairstyles. Hairstyles come and go as well. So that's where the name came from. Until this day, I still say I'm always learning. I entered the industry in 2014 and I developed a passion for hair, people, talking to people. I'm a really shy person, but when I got behind the chair, I wasn't shy. And it was something that felt really great. Like I normally, when I'm in a room, I'll stay to myself or stay to the people I know. But behind the chair, I was like a social butterfly. And from there, I developed relationships and grew to the point where I decided to start on my own. I left the barbershop I was at and I started at a new one. From there, I got an opportunity to go out to Montreal. And I went to Montreal for about 6 months to cut hair and learn a little bit more. And out there was where I realized there was so much more to offer to my clients. And I came back 6 months later and I opened my own private studio where I would cut hair, and it was more of a private setting where people can talk. Like when you have clients in the chair, they like to feel comfortable and want to be able to share like their life stories with you. So that's what I built my whole business around, like a private setting, one-on-one. And from there, it grew to like, even through cutting hair back in 2014, I was always taking pictures of clients' haircuts because that's how you would promote yourself. And through that is where I developed like a love and passion for photography. And from there, I started taking pictures of my friends, family, And now I have a private studio that kind of hosts both of my passions, which is hair and photography. And that's
Wow,
where I am
that's
today.
that is some story. And you know what? And like I said, the common trend between all of you is that you've taken your passion and you decided that you're going to utilize that. And in some cases, in your case, Adam, where your passion, there's another passion that evolved as a result of that first step out. I like the fact that you mentioned that you are somewhat shy, but once you got behind the chair, you became a bit of a social butterfly. I can totally relate. No one likes to think that I'm shy, but I really am a shy person. Chenelle will say the same about herself, but we don't believe her. But but I understand what you're saying, because when you're embracing your passion, I think that whole element, a different element of your personality comes to the forefront, and that is because it's your comfort zone. It's who you are, essentially. I'm going to go to Chenelle, because I know that I've got a question that I wanted to ask in terms of your business. We know that you've taken your passion. We know that each of you have taken your passion and you've kind of rolled it into something that has borne fruit. But how has your business helped you to grow as a person, as an individual? Chenelle, can I ask you to lead that off? I'm going to ask each of you, but Chenelle, could I ask you to lead that off?
Yes. Auntie Michelle said it. I am actually a shy person. Quaison's not going to believe me, but I became very nervous in terms of selling and, owning. I was just really, really shy. But then I realized this is something I'm passionate about. And it has brought out this confidence that was never there to approach people and talk to them. I find myself, if I'm at like the grocery store or if I'm at the park and I see someone with their natural hair out, like I would look at that person and I would be like, their hair looks nice, but it would look a lot better if they're using natural by Shen. So I got the confidence to start walking up to people and be like, hi, I normally don't do this, but I saw your hair and I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Chenelle and I have a natural hair care line. So it has definitely allowed me to gain more confidence in myself. I am no longer shy to speak in front of a camera or approach people and tell them who I am, what I do. So I would definitely say my confidence has just evolved. Like I am just ready.
That is awesome. You know what? That's a good thing. I think it's important to sometimes stand back and do a little bit of a self-assessment as to, okay, so I've embraced my passion, but what has that embracing of the passion has done for me? So I'm going to ask you the same thing, Quaison. Like, what have you seen as develop as a result of your embracing your passion?
I've always felt like I was a good read of people. I kind of understand the energy in the room, and ever since I've actually gotten behind a chair, it's just improved tenfold. I have a ability to understand what my client's feeling at that moment. If they tell me they like the haircut, but they don't like it, I'll know. I pick up on a lot of subtle cues. And because I have so much people coming by, like I've seen thousands of people, I've been able to just strengthen that skill of being able to like understand people and cater to their needs at the time. I don't consider it being fake, but sometimes like I have to be 10 different people in one day because the clients are there for service. I think it's up to me to adjust to their energy, right? So if somebody comes in and they're super talkative, then I'll be that. If they're super quiet, I'll be that too, right? So, even sometimes when it comes to the politics, if they're super liberal, sure, I'm liberal. If they're conservative, I'm conservative. Whatever you want, right? So I really learned to adjust to my clients and give them what they need in that time frame that they're there with me.
That is awesome. I do like that, and I like that comparison. I remember in the banking world, we used to have like huddles before we open the doors to the public, and each time our manager will say to us, "Now you're going to put on your acting." And it's not that you were being fake, just like you mentioned. It's just that they are going to be different people that will walk through that door, and you'd better be able to kind of relate. And that's very, very important and very critical actually to your business, especially the business of service. Roddy, how have you found that having to embrace launching your business, even as you had kind of backburned it for a while, how have you found that to have impacted you as a person?
Being a student of everything, because starting the business, I had to learn so much more than just photography or videography or live streaming. I had to learn the business side of it, the marketing side of it, the accounting, all the profit and loss stuff, taxes. I had to be intentional about learning all this stuff to run a successful business. And I'm being a student every day. I'm learning. I'm constantly learning, and not just learning of these tools, but as well as customer service. Like Quaison said, you have to adjust to your clients. And I have different clients almost all the time. I have to adjust to them to make them feel comfortable in front of the camera. And it forced me to adapt to different situations as well.
That is awesome. I think that's what you'll find is the common thread, because you are all dealing with customers, and when you're dealing with customers, people come with so many different personalities, and you do have to be able to kind of roll with the punches. Adam, I'm just going to jump to you, and because you kind of talked about how some of your other passions have evolved over time, Adam. So can you tell me a little bit about how you think your business have impacted your personal growth? Adam?
I would say like similar to everyone else, like you kind of grow with like your clients. And like today is just an example. Like today I'm attending a wedding for one of my clients that I remember cutting him the day he met his girlfriend, who's now his wife. And it's like you're watching people grow. You're growing with them as they grow with you, and as your business grows as well. And like at his wedding, there's I think like 8 of his friends who I also cut. So as people grow, you're kind of growing with them, and you're understanding that we all change throughout life. Like we adapt to what's going on around us.
Yeah, that, you know what, and I think that's a good point to make. We do tend to over time see people that we have provide service for X number of years, and we can see when they begin to change and things begin to change for them. One of the things I want to do is, because when we're looking at clients, when we're giving service to clients, there must be times when you've encountered situation that you have to take a moment maybe to just either catch yourself, because it was either a very I guess curious situation or a very funny situation. So I'm not putting anybody on the spot, but I'd like to hear of a moment when you had an engaging opportunity to an engaging moment, let's say, with a client, just to give some levity to the situation. If you had any moments where a client has done something that was so terrible it was funny, and it doesn't matter, any of you can jump in with a story for me, please. Do you have any takers?
So I learned a very valuable lesson with a client early in my career. It was a gentleman I was cutting, and he came in and he was very yo, seemed very relaxed. I thought I could be relaxed with him too. And we started having basketball conversations. And then he said, Tim Duncan has 6 championships. I said, no, he doesn't. Tim Duncan has 5 championships. He insisted again that Tim Duncan has 6. So I asked the guy beside me, I said, hey, man, listen to the nonsense this guy's talking. He's saying Tim Duncan has 6 championships when he has 5. And the guy said, yeah, he does have 5. So I went home that night. I get a frantic call from the person I was working for at the time. And she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He left me a vicious review saying that I cut hair like a 5-year-old. And it was the worst haircut he's ever got in his entire life. And I knew that wasn't the case. I've seen a lot of haircuts at that point. I knew it wasn't the haircut. I heard his ego, and that was an extremely valuable lesson to me. It just made me realize that, you don't want to criticize, complain, or condemn to your clients, right? So I condemned him. I made him look a little silly, and he retaliated. And that was like a huge lesson for me. Like, make sure that you understand that this is business, and as loose as you feel with somebody, you never know what they're really thinking. So you always got to keep your guard up, because it could have ended way worse than that.
Yes, very, really, really quite an interesting point, Quaison, is that you have to be in that mode. Just as we talked about putting on that face and being that bit of an actor or actress, you have to always be in that mode. I was interviewing someone a while back, and she lost me because at some point in the interview, when I was quite relaxed, I was still the interviewer, and I was still interviewing her for a job. But in my relaxing, she got pretty comfortable, and she decided to start snapping her fingers and bobbing her head, which I really does not ascribe to. And so, unfortunately for her, that meant that she was immediately out of the scope of things, or out of the running. So we always have to be quite aware when we're interacting with the public. It is what, there are certain expectations that we just cannot take for granted. I'm just going to throw this out to Chenelle. Do you have any kind of incident that has happened, particularly in your interaction with your clients? Maybe it's a little funny, maybe it's not, but it just has taught you some lesson as well.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things that I do, because like I said, my business is only 8 months old, I reach out to each and every one of my customers. Once they've purchased my products, I would give them a couple weeks, and I would check in, and I would ask them, how is the product working for them? Because I want to make sure they're using it correctly. If they have any challenges, I'm here. And I do that for literally each and every one of my customers. So one of my customers, a couple months ago, I had reached out to her, and I checked in with her, and I asked her, how is the product working for you and your daughter? And then she said to me, she went off. That was like the one customer. She went off, and then she said to me, it has alcohol. It's drying out our hair. It's not working. My hair doesn't like this. And one of the things I forgot to mention was that my products are 100% natural. It's herbal based. It's natural because I use it on my soon to be 2-year-old. So she went off on me, and I literally stopped in the message, and I said, that particular ingredient that you mentioned, actually, it is called alcohol. It is cetearyl alcohol, but it's not drying. It's actually derived from coconut oil. And then I said, can you tell me a little bit more of your regimen? How are you using the products? What are you doing? Because she said it really dried out their hair. And then she said to me, well, I took castor oil, I put it in a bottle of water, mixed it together, and then I sprayed it on my hair. And I said, I wouldn't recommend that, because what you're doing is you're blocking moisture from getting into the hair because you've put castor oil into a bottle of water. So once you spray that onto your hair, the molecule of castor oil is going to be too big to penetrate into your hair. So what it's doing, it's creating a barrier on her hair shaft, preventing moisture from coming in. So that was the first step she did, then started using my products. So I said to her, what I would recommend you do is you get a clarifying shampoo, strip your hair, and start over. I said, that's what I'm going to recommend, because you're blocking moisture from getting in. So it doesn't matter if you're using my products or any other products. The fact that you've sprayed castor oil and water onto your hair, nothing is going to get in. You've already sealed off that cuticle. And then I didn't hear from her again. And then I saw an order pop up on my phone, and I saw the customer's name. And then I messaged her, and I'm like, oh, I received an order from you. Thank you for your support. And then she said to me, she's like, honestly, I am so glad I stuck with your product and what you recommended, because she's like, your products are amazing. And she has been like riding with me, reaching out to me, checking in on me. She was like, oh, it would be nice if you have a spray, because it would be good that I can just spray my hair. And I'm like, oh, I actually do have a spray. I haven't launched it as yet. She's like, oh, can I buy it? And I'm like, sure, I will make it for you and then I'll ship your order. But what that taught me was that composure. I was very calm. It was easy just to say, no, my product is not this, it's not that. But I listened to her. I listened to her experience. I asked her, what did you do? Because I wanted to know what she did to see how I can help her out. And honestly, that taught me to just listen to my customers and give feedback without making them feel like, you know, they're like the worst person ever. And to this day, her words to me are, I'm so happy I stuck with your brand because your products are amazing and I can't wait for your business to take off.
I like that, Chenelle. I just realized I was muted, and you were actually just as calm with myself, the self-proclaimed diva who decided she wasn't going to just go and order online. So I do thank you for that. I'm going to jump there to Adam the Apprentice. I say Adam the Apprentice all the time because it just I feel good about saying Adam the Apprentice. I know I can call you Adam. I just feel like saying Adam the Apprentice. I'm just going to jump to you, Adam the Apprentice, and just do you have anything that you have? Because like Roddy, you're both kind of you've got two-sided fence or three-sided fence, I should say. You're a hair person, and then you're the hair barber person. And then you are also the person that is behind the camera occasionally. So you must have loads of story. I know you talked a bit about being that person that listened to the clients, as you know, and yes, there's evidence out there that shows that barbers are in fact a little bit of a psychologist, if you will. Have you had any stories, Adam, that you'd like to share with us with regards to that?
Oh, I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
No? Well, it'll come back to you. What about yourself,
Okay.
Roddy?
Can you go to the question again?
I was saying, did you have, you might have had a whole lot of experiences since you started. You have people, you're behind the camera. Do you have people who throw tantrums or people, you don't have to name names, but, you might have some fun kind of interaction, or, they might be funny or they may just be serious, but they have been interaction that you could share with us.
I can speak in general, not on a specific situation. Where I have clients who would make a request for a specific job, and in their head, this is how they want the job done, whether it's a video or photos. And the way I look at it is, oh, that's kind of corny or amateur or whatever they want. So I'll suggest a professional way to do it, but they still want it their way. So I have to kind of like, I got to lower my work standards a little bit to provide that customer the service that they want so they can be happy. And sometimes I don't like it, but I have to do it because it's customer service. I have to provide the customer the service that they need. So it's annoying, but I'll do it.
And you know what? I think I can totally see that happening because people are like that. You have all of these kind of differences in personalities, like we mentioned. So you will always have that. There are people who are going to have a specific. They have a vision in their head, and you can see it as the person with that skill set. You can see that it will look corny or cheesy. That person can see it. So good for you that you're able to just take that and you're able to put it into something that the client could actually look at and be pleased with because that's what they visualized and wanted. The Money Minute with Michelle Moseley show is really about trying to match what you're doing with showing people, that it's your money, your way. It's my favorite tagline. And I use that tagline because it could be whether you want to be in small business, whether it is like myself, I'm in investments and all that fun stuff over time for more than 20 years. Or whatever it is that you're doing. So we like to look at how you, our community, how you're utilizing your passion Whether that passion is just simply working, with a company, but you're taking whatever it is that you like the most and you're utilizing that for your own economic benefit and of course for that of your family. Or in your case, as you know, the four of you today, where you are self-employed, well, to some degree, and that's your passion, and you're aiming to make it something more substantial. So this is a lot of times I try to make sure people can understand the whole concept behind the Money Minute, Michelle Moseley. It's not just about a little nugget of information, but it's looking across the board at what our people in our community are doing and trying to make sure that we can match those people. In the past, I've had mortgage broker, I've had, Mary Kate, a small business owner. Today, I'm featuring yourselves because I understand that you are the quote unquote newer generation. You've taken to some degree older ideas and you're making it your own. You've turned it into your passion. I'd like to talk a bit about your marketing approach. We're not going to go too in depth, but if you can just tell me a bit about your marketing approach. I'm just going to go with Adam, the Apprentice, because I know that we kind of bypassed you just now, Adam.
Okay. In the beginning, my marketing approach was heavily based on Instagram and word of mouth. And as of today, I would say I focus a little bit more on word of mouth than social media. I still use it, but I put a little bit more focus into word of mouth as like the experience that I provide. It's better explained from someone who's close to someone that they're referring, as opposed to on social media. I haven't found a way to showcase what I'm offering on social media as of right now, because after COVID, I kind of changed my business approach and I actually created a membership to my private studio on the hair side. And I haven't really figured out a way to market that.
Okay, but I'm sure you will because you are Adam the Apprentice and you are learning as you go. So what about yourself, Quaison, in terms of marketing?
First of all, I'd like to go back to Adam. Adam is one of the most brilliant branders I've seen. He's excellent at putting his brand on everything. So, marketing and branding are two different things. But when it comes to branding, I actually envy Adam's branding, his prowess when it comes to branding. For me, marketing is, I like social media. Social media is free. And I think that, the output is more important than the outcome. So I try to post as much as possible, and it's free marketing. To me, like, there's nothing more beautiful. You could pay for ads, which I do occasionally on Google and on Instagram. But just by posting consistently, I've gotten a lot of clients that way. Also, every single client that walks through my door, I ask them, how did you hear about the shop? And what I found, about 80% of them found out about the shop from Google. So I decided to take most of my energy and concentrate it on Google. So I do some Google ads, and I try to update my photos and information on Google frequently, which helps put me at the top of the page. And those are my two major ways of marketing. Honestly, I think it's all about consistency. I know a lot of people that try to get into, promoting their brand and they want it to be perfect. And that's the quickest way to not get anything done. You just do it. And if it fails, it fails. If it succeeds, it succeeds, right? I've had some content that I put out that I thought was nothing. I spent 2 minutes on it and then I'll get like 12,000 views on it. And I've had content where I spent an hour on it and I got 300 views on it. But it doesn't matter. I just keep pushing it out. So Google and social media, to me, the best possible ways to market my particular business.
That is awesome. I think that's a good point because you may think a content is, or you like the content and you think it's the best thing since sliced cheese, but when you put it out into the world, it really has to resonate with the people out there. And so I think that's what you'll find, and that's what marketing is about, and it's capturing the audience and making them want to or get their buy-in. Let's put it that way, and they want to hear what you're saying. So I'm just going to go over to Roddy. I know that I've seen yourself. I see you wearing your RMAC visual shirt as well. And which I think is awesome. You're here. You're going to speak with regards to RMAC visuals. Tell us a bit about what it is that how you market RMAC visuals. How do you get your clients? Is it word of mouth? Do you use social media a lot? I know personally I got you off of Facebook. So tell us a bit about that.
I take the same approach that Quaison and Adam do, social media and word of mouth. And like this, it's a constantly evolving thing with marketing because it's always changing, and you got to keep up with marketing because it's always every few years there's a new platform that you got to learn. First recently it was Instagram, now it's TikTok, and I'm still trying to figure out how to market on TikTok. On Instagram, I don't even think hashtags work anymore. You got sponsored ads you got to start doing now. I try to do sponsored ads every now and then. Based on the feedback from sponsored ads, I'll think about doing it again. But Google ads as well, I'll try to do sometimes. But it's something that you always got to keep up with and learning, like analytics and what area is viewing your stuff the most and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot to learn, but I try to do social media and word of mouth. Most of my clients come from word of mouth.
Awesome. Chenelle, what do you use for your marketing efforts?
For me, I started off on Instagram. I am not tech savvy at all. So that's also an area that I'm learning as well. Social media, especially Instagram. But for me, the biggest source for me is word of mouth. A lot of my customers are coming from my clients that are telling people. And I recently started TikTok. So that has been getting a lot of views. And like I said, Instagram as well. But my two main sources are Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. But majority word of mouth.
Very good. I can tell you that since I have liked your Facebook page and I've liked Sharp Society and I've liked RMAC Visual, you guys just show up in my feed and I can't get rid of you. I may have to unmic all of you at some point. I don't want to go too because sometimes we overwhelm people with information. We're coming up to that mark that I don't want to go past. I just want to say that I think it's very interesting that every one of you've taken your passion and you have decided to move it into something that could actually catapult you hopefully to the next phase of your life. Which is where you become quite self-sufficient if you're not fully embracing the whole concept of being self-employed. I know, Chenelle, you work, like you said, you're social worker. I know that Roddy works as well. I think Quaison and Adam, the Apprentice, are both fully into doing their self-employed roles. But what I'm saying is that if you have a passion, one of the things I've learned over time is that you just have to start. Roddy, I'm glad that the pandemic kind of forced you into it and make you take that step. But if it's one solid thing I can tell you as young people in a business, whatever that business is, once you have an opportunity to start. When Andrew James is on, he's my producer, and he is also the person that's responsible for getting us out there. When he said, would you want to do one of this by yourself? Because Andrew has a Linden, Voices of Linden TV that he does his program on. And I said, I didn't even think about it. I kind of just jumped in, had some rocky starts. I will take this further. I'm about to do my own webpage. I also will take my life coaching business that has just been approved, and I'm officially a life coach. And the point I am making with these is that if you have a passion like you guys do, and you've taken it, take it to the hilt. Like Quaison, I think you mentioned, there are sometimes it's not going to, your content's not going to really resonate. It may fail, or you can call it fail, but I don't necessarily know that anything fails. I think once you have even impacted one person, that is in fact a success. I want to encourage all of you to just keep going at it. I'd like some last words from you. We're not going to stay much longer than this because we don't want to lose our audience by being, in an overkill. But I'd like some last words from you if you don't mind. I'm just going to check very quickly first before we get to the last words. I'm seeing a little bit of questions popping up, and I do have to put on my glasses for this. So let's just see here if there are questions. Chenelle, what about the use of castor oil on the scalp? I think you answered, Chenelle, but can you just give for the Facebook Live people?
Yeah, definitely. So just to clarify, when I was saying what the customer was doing with the castor oil, mixing oil, castor oil is actually very perfect for the hair and the scalp. It's all within the formulation. So I do have like my hair growth oil, which has castor oil in it. And my other products does contain castor oil. But like I said, it's all within the formulation. Putting raw castor oil from the bottle on your hair, it's not what's recommended. Because like I said, it's going to eliminate moisture from getting in. So castor oil is perfect for the hair, just has to be used the right way.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any other question, Andrew, if you have seen any other question coming in. But while we're waiting, and if there's not, I'm just going to ask if you can start off, if we can start off with the final word. Chenelle, I'm going to start with you because you're right there on the screen. And if you can just give us a little bit of, and you're the girl. So if you could just give us the last word of, your product. And of course, I'd like to also have your contact information, whether it's, all of the social media platforms that you use.
Yes. So currently I have launched 10 products, all handmade, each ingredient, everything is done by me. You can definitely find me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok at Natural by Shen, or you can visit my website. It's called naturalbyshen.com, or you can email me naturalbyshen@gmail.com for all your Ayurvedic, herbal, natural hair products.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chenelle. I'm just going to go to Adam, the apprentice, because I know, Adam, you were in a wedding party, I think. So just give us a little bit about your capture, kind of summarize your business and your contact details.
Okay, so I have a private studio which posts both of my passions, cutting hair and also doing in-studio photography. And I can be found at adamtheapprentice.com or at adamtheapprentice on Instagram, as well as studio212.ca.
That is awesome. So I'm just going to take it to Roddy. Let's go with you, and I'm going to save quaison. Roddy, I'll go with you. And quaison is last. You guys are like the people that grew up together. That's my only rationale. I have no rationale really. So let's go with you, Roddy.
All right. My last words, I'll say, don't wait to start the business. Don't wait until you think you're in a good space or a good position to start a business. Start it now, and you can work your way up to be great. Like this quote, or I've been hearing in a commercial recently, is like, you don't have to be amazing to start, but you have to start to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I love that quote. So whatever you have, whatever dreams you have, just start it now and make all the mistakes now, and then you'll build your way up to something great. And
that's awesome.
For social media, you guys can follow me on Instagram, RMAC Visuals, RMACVIZUALS, and RMACVisuals.com as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really do like that quote. I think that's awesome.
That's my quote as well.
Quaison, I'm going to ask you to summarize for us and give us your details.
So my thing is, you are your habits. And my life really started to turn around once I started reading consistently and educating myself consistently. I'm very regimented. I pretty much do the same things every day. Sometimes I might fall off, but for the most part, I do the same things every day. And one of the things that I try to do every day is study my craft. I actually kind of got that from Adam, the always learning thing. I try to focus on studying my craft and getting better every day, because I know that 90% of the people in my industry are not going to do it. And if you go into any business with that mindset that you're just going to focus a little time on it every single day, it's definitely going to put you in a position where you could elevate yourself past the competition. You can find my contact at Sharp Society Inc. And this was all a dream for me. I never expected this to happen. I never expected my business to be so successful, but I just started and I stayed consistent and everything worked itself out.
That is fantastic. I want to thank you all for coming on. I admire all of you. I admire your resolve. I admire the fact that you started. I think it's very, very important. And I applaud you. I think, one of the things that we have to do in our community in particular is to make sure that we can recognize and give due to our young people and old people and middle-aged people, but to everyone, each one, making sure that we are accountable for each other, making sure that we are each other's keeper. So thank you very much, Roddy, Quaison, Adam the Apprentice, and the lady of the hour, Chenelle. I think you guys are off to a fantastic start. If you have questions, if you want to reach out to me at some point, use my expertise. I've been in the business for a long time. I've been around. I'm older than you. Obviously, I've been around. Andrew James, the man of the hour. Andrew James is my producer, and he is the man of the hour. He is responsible for the Money Minute by Michelle Moseley. I want to encourage you, if you have any questions, you have any comments, you have suggestions, it is Money Minute Michelle Moseley at gmail.com. Again, that is Money Minute Michelle Moseley at gmail.com. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching today. And we'll see you next time. The next time we're going to be on this show, it is going to be the Guyanese version of Dragon's Den. And that is an idea that came out from a former student of mine. And we're going to present that on our next session, which will be on September 5th. And it's where we're going to encourage people to bring their ideas of, small business, whatever their passion is. And we're going to piggyback from these young people here today. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.